topic 5 because we ended topic 4 on the money market. Okay, so in your lecture notes, topic 5, let's look at page 22. So, okay, now, you don't have to turn to it, but in page 21, for example, this is the money market. How come we don't use the money market diagram? Alright, why must we use the LM curve? Okay, why so Jay? Go and do another step. The reason is this. If you look at the money market diagram, what is useful is only interest rate. In an economy, do we really care about quantity of money? Alright, we already know money demand high or low doesn't really tell us anything. It doesn't tell us the health of the economy. Therefore, using money market as described in page 21, it's not useful. And therefore, we converted the money market into an equation called the LM function. Why is the LM function more useful? Because it's represented as interest rate and income. And income can tell me the health of the economy as I look at both variables. Alright, so money market is the backbone of LM. But why do we need LM? Because it's a very direct and explicit manner to know the health of the economy by looking at interest rates and income. Okay, alright, then from there I showed you the mathematical derivation, and you know it's not difficult. Again, the steps that I took was, if you know how to draw the diagram, pay attention to the axis, write the equation to suit the axis. Then from there, we could see the slope of LM is H1, H2. It is upward sloping because we look at the equation. I and Y is positively related. Okay? However, we take note that the vertical intercept is actually negative because H0 is the money in our hands. M over P is money supply. Money supply is C plus D. Money supply is definitely larger than H0. Alright, or in certain cases, H0 is also negative. So we know it has a negative intercept. But we don't draw the LM curve all the way down because we know in an economy there is no zero interest rate. So we merely just draw the LM in this manner. Alright, so that actually tells you in the exam, okay, you cannot do this. Right? You cannot draw LM like that. This is incorrect. If your LM is this, you are trying to say H0 is M over P. You're trying to say the amount of money are all in our hands. We don't trust the banks. But that is wrong. Because the LM came from money demand, money supply, and Keynes says, alright, people are buying financial assets. They must trust the banks and the bank institution. So this is actually incorrect. Okay? But in the exam, if you carelessly did this, the examiner, he will definitely mark you wrong. This is clearly wrong. But if you carelessly did it this way, alright, you won't be penalized. But remember, when the examiner wants to consider whether you deserve a distinction, these are the things that he will mark you down. You'll think that you are not conscientious. You merely drew because you memorized. Alright, so a correct diagram you could see is merely like this. Alright, it shows that it's going to touch the horizontal axis. Okay, and the second reason why the LM is fairly steep is because the slope is H1 over H2. And H1 is usually more than H2. Alright, we have done this in topic 4, okay, page 11, that we have seen. H1 is usually about 0.3, H2 is only about 0.17. So not only the line seems to touch the horizontal axis, the LM curve generally is quite steep because H1, income elasticity of money demand, is larger than H2, alright, which is interest elasticity of money demand. Alright, so when we understand the LM, we don't just say, oh, we have an equation. We attempt to understand the slope as well as the intercept. Okay, alright, so make sure when you draw your LM, although it's a simple line, observe the key characteristics. So that was our discussion last week in page 22. Okay, then what is the exam focus? If I'm using this method, this is called mathematical method because I use equation and I study. Right? The very common exam question is H2. Of course, you can discuss H1, but because H1 is generally constant, but what would change in an economy is usually H2. So in this case, you could see if your H2 is 0, mathematically, it will tell me the slope is infinity. It means the line will reach up to heaven. That's why it's vertical. Alright, but it simply means this is an economy probably applicable to North Korea. That is a country that individuals do not react to interest rate. Alright, they don't buy financial assets. They were so poor, they don't even have money. Most people don't have money. So you ask them to hold money is to spend. You see, so in this case, this is what we call a very classical, unique case. This cannot be explained for the real world anymore. If you look at poor countries, even in African countries, I'm sure your H2 is not 0. It could be just very small, but not 0. Okay, so that was a vertical LM, but our key focus was actually not the vertical LM, but instead the horizontal LM. Okay, so just turn to the page 23.